Welcome back, everybody. As Ryan Seacrest would say, this is Get Up and Get Better. Get better. Go get it. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Today we are talking about the person who inspired me to get in front of a camera. And I'm going to rewind a little bit. I'm going to share how it kind of came to be, how I got into entertainment and sports media. You know, I've talked about before how I really wanted to be in the business side of sports. When I went into college, I thought I was going to be the GM of the Yankees, business all the way, no second thoughts. But I really found that my passion was talking about sports, talking about entertainment. And 2018, it was a rough year for my family, and lost my grandma, my grandpa, and it was just a lot going on. And I remember New Year's Eve, we took it really, really easy that night, and we just said, let's stay home. Sitting on the couch with my dad, and my dad looks at the screen and says, "That's a guy you have to meet." And I never forgot that. He said, that's a guy you have to meet. Because we always talked about, for years in my house, we grew up watching American Idol. Like every single night we would watch American Idol. And then Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve every year. And I love Oscars, I love the Grammys, I love the red carpet shows. I would rush home to watch the red carpet show. And there was one constant, and that was Ryan Seacrest. And I told my dad, I'm going to meet him. I'm going to make it happen. And, fast forward a couple months later, I met him. I'm going to pull the picture up right here. And I talked about this essentially, and I said to him, I looked at him right in the eyes, and I told him my story, and I said, I'm going to work for you one day. And then fast forward a couple months later, I gave him my portfolio and my resume, and I handed it to him, and I said, I told you I'm going to work for you one day, so let's make it happen. And he's such a nice guy, great. He's everything, you hope an inspiration would be. And he took it from me, and he said, I got this. And I'm still waiting on that call. That's my goal. That's the next step I want to get to. And a lot of people ask, why do you want to work for Ryan Seacrest? Why is it him? Like, why can't you start somewhere else? And when you look at the entertainment host business, there's one common trend. The next great learned from a previous great. And this is just a lot of research. I've done a lot of research on his career and the Dick Clarks, the Regis Philbin. But look at the great hosts. Dick Clark, Regis Philbin, Merv Griffin, Ryan Seacrest, all these guys in TV production and hosting, they all learned from each other. Seacrest took over Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve. He learned from Merv Griffin. He took over for Regis Philbin, essentially, on Live with Kelly and Ryan. And he learned from the greats. So I said in a video probably 2-3 years ago, I want to learn from the greatest, and that is Ryan Seacrest. And I told him this. And that's my plan. That's what I plan on doing. And I would do any career I had to if I got to learn from him. I want to learn. I don't want to just work for him. I want to learn how to be the next great. And if you don't want to be the next great, then why are you going into the career that you're going into? Passion of mine ever since I was younger was film, music, television, sports, the entertainment industry. That was my essential passion with sports and entertainment. And that's why I want to learn from him. So today we're going to talk about inspiration that comes from the person who got me really interested in the first place in this career. And we're going to start with this message that he shares. And I'm going to play it.
When I was a kid, I was always fascinated by the guys that were on the radio, the DJs at night. I remember when I was interning at a local station in Atlanta, how in awe I was of every single mechanic of the operation. I felt that, and I thought if I could get to know everyone in that department and the next department and the other department, that would benefit me in some way later. So I tried to learn all different parts of the business.
That's a great point to make, especially from him. So I related to that in the sense that every job I have ever had, I have tried to do the same because I want to know what makes an operation run. Even with Get Better, I do it all, not in an arrogant way. I want to know how to do it all, the business ends, the financial ends, everything, because that really interests me, how to run everything because then it's not just benefiting you, you can benefit other people. You can help others along the way at whatever job that you're doing. I mean, everyone wants to be the one at work that can help, right? And I think that's a really interesting point. And look, Ryan Seacrest grew up right outside of Atlanta, grew up in Georgia. He was going to go to college. He went for a semester. He dropped out, went to Los Angeles, and he made this quote that really stood out to me, because I made a point to say that you don't need a college education to succeed in this world. And I mean, he's living proof of that. I mean, the success that he has made on his career. And he said this, and this stuck with me. I'm going to play that right here.
This is Ryan then, a precocious kid growing up in suburban Atlanta, obsessed with music and radio. He dropped out of college to move to LA.
What do you think was the key to your success and to getting this?
I was scared to death of failing. I remember saying to my parents, I'm going to put my stuff in my Honda and I'm going to drive out to LA and I'm going to try and make it in broadcasting somehow. So when I got here, I thought to myself, I am not going back there and saying that I failed. I'm going to do exactly what they thought I would do.
So, I mean, I think a lot of us can relate to that, because look, no one wants to be the one who goes for their dreams and then comes home, and then you're living in your hometown where you grew up with everyone that you grew up around, and then everyone else is out there living their dreams and you're not living yours. And I think that is a very relatable message that he sends. And look, I think the most, especially in entertainment, I have had a career, you know, I work at TMZ, great job, great company. And I think that, I mean, even when you're applying for jobs in today's market, that it's evident that this is a hard career path that you have chosen. It is evident, it is clear as day, but taking no as an answer is never the option. And he explains that right here.
What do you think the secret to your success has been?
I think for me,
Like if they were going to ask you, Ryan, what could I do? What would you tell them?
it is absolute focus and determination and a love for what you're pursuing. And I think they, as I did, will be told no a lot. And that no is something you can't always listen to. Like sometimes that no can become a yes. But I think you've got to find out something you love and pursue it with a lot of focus.
So I really liked that, because I remember when the first time I met Mr. Seacrest, I said to him, you know, what do I have to do to get to your position? Because I wanted to ask a question. I didn't want to just explain. I wanted to get some insight. And he said, you're doing it. You got to just keep doing it. You got to find the niche. And he explained that my job was a good match. And, you know, I think that's a great point. When you take no for an answer, you're taking no against yourself. It's not, then the answer of no isn't just a reflection of someone's opinion of you. It's a reflection of yourself if you take it in. And I have to say that when you look at this quote, and I found this really interesting, when you put this into perspective of Ryan Seacrest's career and all that he's done, and the idea of failing, being afraid for him, it's really inspirational. I'm going to play that right here.
Bring many new beginnings for Ryan Seacrest.
The reason I have 10 things is because I'm always afraid I'm going to lose 5. Nothing will replace this, but I'm looking forward to the possibility of what might be next.
So he is known as the busiest man in Hollywood. That is his nickname by the most powerful people in the industry. And that mindset, I know I comprehended, relate to it, because I love having, so I remember in college, I was a full-time student and had 3 jobs at once, because I always wanted to, you know, have somewhere else to turn. I wanted to know that I was giving it everything I got. I was being the busiest that I can be, because any downtime that you take in your life is just taking away from what you could be and what your potential could turn into. And I wanted to go to this quote of his, because, you know, I'll play this real quick. He talks about his jobs, all the jobs he has, and he explained his schedule, kind of like we talked about with Mark Wahlberg. And he wakes up at 4:30, goes to work out at 5:45, 7:30 pickup, gets camera ready at 8, live hit 8:27, 9 a.m. He's on live with Kelly and Ryan. Then he has his 10 a.m. radio show on air with Ryan Seacrest. Goes up until, around 1 o'clock. This particular day, he had to fly out to L.A., and then he had to go film American Idol. He even plans his meals. And, I mean, for him, he is the busiest man in Hollywood, and these are his jobs, okay? This is what he does throughout the year. Live with Kelly and Ryan every morning. He has his radio show, which he does in New York, on air with Ryan Seacrest every day. Then he has the Eli from the red carpet, so the Grammys, the Oscars, the Golden Globes. He does the red carpet shows. Then he has Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. Then he has his fashion line. And then on top of that, he is a producer, and he produced Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You might have heard of it. And then the most impressive thing, I think, for me is his foundation, the Ryan Seacrest Foundation, which this is their mission. And, I find this to be probably the greatest thing he does. It's an initiative to build a broadcast media center named Seacrest Studios with pediatric hospitals for patients to explore the creative realms of radio, television, and new media. So what he does is he puts these studios in the lobbies for kids to go downstairs and practice and, become the media personality of the hospital. And I think that is amazing for the kids, for him, what he does. That is changing the world. I mean, there's no better way to put a smile on a kid's face than, letting them explore media and television and radio. Unbelievable. And, he said once in a quote I'm going to read right here, he says, "I'm 100% better with a little bit of controlled chaos. I just know if I have 3 things to do or 9 things to do, I'm just better at them if I have 9. A lot of people might think, what? How do you handle that? I get that. I mean, when you are busy, when you are trying to stay focused, and if you have a schedule and you have 9 things you have to do, you won't have any leeway time to, get off track. But if you have 3 things to do, then you're going to, have some downtime. You might fall asleep, and then what are you going to do?" So he also said this: "We meet no ordinary people in our lives. If you give them a chance, everyone has something amazing to offer." And we here at Get Better Motivation strongly believe that, because everyone has something, strong to offer. And I wanted to play this. He went on Oprah. There's 2 things here. I'm going to play this one first about, about his schedule and things like that, since we're on the topic of it.
Ryan said in an interview that, I love this, where you say you weren't the fastest, you weren't the strongest or the smartest or the tallest, but you were willing to come in early and leave late and work the hardest.
Well, I know you find it shocking looking at me that I wasn't the strongest or the tallest, but I wasn't the greatest athlete, wasn't the best student in class, but I knew I could control one thing, and that is my time and my hours and my effort and my efficiency. So I would get up and go to high school, and after high school, I would play sports, not great at them, but I would play sports, and then I would go to a radio station and intern until midnight at night, and then get up and do it again. And it did make my mother a little bit nervous because I wasn't sleeping that much. But I conditioned myself to just work longer.
Yeah, you have the work.
I mean, that's how you have to be in any career, no matter what you are trying to pursue. First one in, last one to leave. And I had a boss once, I was still the last one there. I was the only one in the office. And he looked at me and said, "Did you still give everything that you have?" And, as a young intern, I remember that, and that will stick with me forever, because I was still the last one left. I was still giving it more than everyone else in the room, but was I still giving it everything I had? And you know what? I still had more in me. I stayed another hour. And when you want to be on this level of success, how could you not be the first one there and the last one to leave? Because there is always someone trying to be you or what you want to be. And I think it's important to not lose sight of what you need to be, what you want to be. And, one other way I relate to him, and, I've done a lot of research on his career, because I always say, I want to be the next Ryan Seacrest, but I want to be the first Jake Kozak. And he struggled with weight, and I had to tie it in to Get Better Motivation, because that's where this started. This is where I started. This is where I realized what potential I had. And he makes a fantastic point. I'm going to play that right here.
Now look at that.
I became very aware and self-conscious of my
physique.
Were kids teasing you? But you don't look like you're at the teasing stage, though.
I was close to it, and I would actually, I didn't like spring because spring break was imminent, and I didn't want to go to the pool.
Because you'd have to take off your shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So I would swim with my t-shirt. And when you have that feeling as a kid, that lives with you for a long time, which is why to this day I schedule working out like it's a meeting.
Yeah.
Scheduling it like a meeting. I know I do this. I schedule my workouts. I make sure to get my workout done because unless you've been overweight, unless you've had, you know, that experience growing up where you don't want to take your shirt off at the beach, I mean, I know I have, you know that you need to be disciplined, and that's where my discipline essentially came from my weight loss journey. And when I talk about this, it's because I want everyone to know that, you know, we all can improve our physique, but it changes everything else about your life. And look, Ryan Seacrest, he is the very best at what he has done for the last 3 decades. He is my inspiration. I plan on working for him one day, and I will not settle until I get that experience and that knowledge because I want to learn from the best. He is the best, and I wish him nothing but success going forward because he's an inspiration to so many people in this field. And I promise you that I will be the next Ryan Seacrest and the first Jake Kozak, but every day I just need to focus on getting better. I'll see you soon, everybody. Thank you.